Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Do I get to write off games that I buy? So basically anything that I spend that's towards business purposes, all right? I categorize all of that in my financial stuff, all right? And I give that to my tax guy, my tax attorney slash tax preparer, and I say, here's what I spent on internet, here's what I spent on electricity for the house, here's what I spent on the cost of games, here's what I spent on game subscriptions, here's a yada, yada, yada. You divvy it all out. And as a business owner as well, there's other things too that, I don't know 100%. I'm not a tax guy, so never take what I say on a stream as like tax advice. I have no idea. But for what I'm to understand, there's certain amounts of everything that can be counted as a business expense or tax write-off. And then there's certain amounts that can't be. I don't know. I don't know the tax laws. Okay, that's why I pay a tax guy to do my taxes for me. So every year, I sit down and I gather all of that data. All right, all the financial data, how much I made from various sources, where the money went, all of that. And it's all split up into all this very, very detailed spreadsheet. And that goes to the tax preparers. And they, based off of that data, they figure out what's considered a tax write-off and what's not. For example, from what I'm going to understand, as long as this room is used only for business, which it is, I don't do anything else in this room besides business. Like, it's every component in this room is for my streams. That's it. So this is considered the business room or office of the house, and that, I guess, becomes some kind of a thing, a component on the taxes for a write-off. I don't know. Again, this is not tax advice. This is just my very basic, limited understanding of how it works, okay? So if I buy something that's for the business, that's going to be led to something that's related to this business, yes, that's considered like part of the whole tax write-off deal. But for example, it has to be solely for that. So how can I explain this? Like, let's say, for example, okay, let's say I bought a game console, okay? And that game console I use in here all the time for the business. But I also use that game console to take it out of the room, and I bring it downstairs and I watch Blu-ray movies on that console in my living room, right? Since that's kind of considered like a dual use, then I guess that's not. Again, I don't know. I'm not a tax person, right? But the good news is literally everything that I have in this room in front of me at this moment is just for business. You know what I mean? Like, everything. I don't take any of my games or consoles or anything out of this room and use them anywhere else. They're all just for business purposes. So that's how it works for me. But every business, I'm sure, is completely and utterly different. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some things that are considered other. You know, another thing that's really weird. So when I first became an interactive streamer in 2017, I sat down with my tax guy and I said, so my income is going to be very different now. Because instead of it being based on just getting paid ad revenue, like royalty payments from YouTube, I'm going to have all this income coming in from live viewers. I'm going to have, at that point I was on Twitch. So I said, I'm going to have this income from people who are like subscribers. I'm going to have income from tips and everything. I said, how does it work? And what he told me basically was very different from, I think, how everyone else does it. I feel like I probably end up paying more taxes than most people. And here's why. He says, you know, even though technically people call it, some people will call them donations, some people will call them tips, that's just income for you. That's just base level income, okay? Even though people might want to categorize it differently to basically get out of paying taxes, you don't want to do that. This is what you got to do. Literally every dollar that you make, you need to categorize as income, real income. Not, oh, it's a tip, so it's categorized differently. It's a donation, so it's categorized differently. He says, no, it's all income for you. And that way, you'll claim it all. You'll always be reporting the correct income to the government, and you'll pay taxes properly. Because what happens with a lot of people who open a business and don't categorize properly is that all of a sudden, they'll get hit, you know, oh, guess what? You found out all these years you've been doing your taxes wrong because you've been misappropriating income in a way, and then boom, you're screwed. So I would not be surprised, okay, I would not be surprised whatsoever if there are YouTubers and streamers out there who say, oh, my tips are not real income. That's like a tip that's categorized as a tip from a waiter or waitress or a bartender, right? And that should be taxed differently. And I would not be surprised. Jasper's digging in my closet. I would not be surprised if there's people who go out there and they go, oh, every donation is completely non-taxable. I'm serious. There's probably people out there who think that. It's completely wrong. According to my tax site, it's like, no, you absolutely need to be claiming every single piece of income and paying taxes on what's appropriate, because you don't want to have that stuff come back to bite you later. It could ruin your life. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. I would rather pay everything properly, even if it means that things are tight and everything. I'd rather do it right than not. And what ended up happening was, for years during that whole process where I was having my bankruptcy, I wasn't paying stuff properly. I couldn't. I was always filing my taxes correctly. I always said, here's what I made and everything. I just couldn't afford to pay it because I was in so much debt, and I was trying to pay minimum payments on everything and make ends meet. So that's why I'm in the situation I'm in today, where I've got all these back taxes that I'm still trying to pay because I couldn't pay them back then. Now I can pay all my taxes, but I'm also paying tons of back taxes all the time. That's going to take me years, probably decades, no exaggeration, to pay off what I owe for the years I wasn't paying. But I always filed my taxes properly to make sure that there was no problems there. I wanted to make sure all the income was accounted for and everything, and that's probably why I'm in the situation I'm in, because I always did it right. Anyway, it is what it is. I don't know how we got into that, but there you go. Anything else, guys? Jasper, where'd you go? Jasper is thoroughly investigating my closet. With how little do I drive my car, do I have car insurance? Absolutely. Yeah, I have car insurance for both me and my wife. We pay it every month. So, I mean, everything is kosher, but that's why life is so expensive. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when there's people out there who are like, oh, I don't get how it is that, when your YouTube payment comes in every month, you say it goes right out the door. Yeah, you have no idea how expensive, health insurance, car insurance, homeowners insurance, the mortgage, the car payment, this, that. Literally, the money comes in and goes right back out. That's because I'm doing everything right, and that's why these things have always been so tight. I'm not cutting corners. I'm not trying to mess around at all. And that's why like I said, I'm very curious if a study was done to find out how many YouTubers and streamers have actually done their income classifications correctly over the last decade. Because there's so many people who I guarantee said, oh, it's a tip, it's categorized differently. And according to, my tax authority, that's wrong. You can't do it that way. How many people said, oh, it's a donation, so I don't have to pay, yada, yada, and it's bullshit. You should have been doing it all along. I'm very curious about that. And by the way, no, I'm not saying in any way that I think that everyone else is getting away with stuff. I'm just saying, like, my mistakes are my own. I overspent when I moved out here. It's my fault. I massively overspent money, expecting I was going to continue to make the amount of money that I did when I moved out here, and I didn't. My money went right down the tubes within 2 to 3 years of me moving out here 10 years ago. And that's why I got into an awful financial situation. I had overspent, and I had no way to pay off all that stuff. The interest kept accruing horribly, exponentially. My mistakes, right? But it just sucks that, I don't know, that, like, it seems like I'm paying for this forever, too. Like, I made my mistakes. I'm trying to fix them and pay them back and everything. And I don't know. It just seems like every year I pay. It's like, okay, so what you owe went down to a tiny amount. It's like, oh, good. I paid all year, and what I owe went down a tiny amount because of the interest and late and fees and everything that's associated with it. It's like, damn, I'll be paying this for, like, my life. Like, no exaggeration, I owe an amount that basically I don't know how I would ever pay it off unless I get to do, like, a big serious financial refinancing of my house or something, which I wanted to do and I can't do now because the economy's so bad. You know, I'm kind of stuck where I am right now for a long time, probably, until interest rates go way down again to where they were when I got my house 10 years ago, which could be years now because of how bad it's gotten. I don't even have like an option to do anything. I'm just kind of stuck coasting where I am. You know, I have no aspirations that this channel or the React channel or this new throwback channel are going to blow up in popularity and all of a sudden I'm going to double my income and now things are so much better. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So it just feels like I just got to kind of go through with what I'm doing and for a while, coast and hope for the best. And you know what they say? They stay the course, right? That's what they say. Just stay the course. Don't go too crazy. Don't lose your mind. Stay dedicated. Stay disciplined. Stay the course. And if you do, things will eventually get better, right? So maybe they will. But that's the thing. I gotta stay the course and enjoy my life as I am and living it now, you know. Thank you, Little Shake and Bake. You've done a super chat and I totally missed it. Exactly. No detours. No going nuts. No losing my nerve. Right? Exactly right. No, there's no way I can get free healthcare from the government. Are you crazy? With the amount, you know, as a YouTuber and the income that I bring in, there's no way. There's absolutely no way I could be getting free healthcare from the government. I pay a lot of money. In fact, my healthcare cost just went up a lot. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It jumped like, it increased. I already pay hundreds of dollars a month for my health insurance. It just went up $70 a month on top of that for the new year. For the exact same coverage. They're not giving me anything better. They didn't improve. It's just the same coverage, $70 more a month. Thanks, America. Really appreciate that. Balduck says, can't you sell one of your many private jets that you fly around every day? No, I refuse to do that. I must hold on to all of my belongings, so there's no way I would ever sell my private jets or my yachts or my exotic zebra collection that lives in the backyard. They're all staying here. I'm sorry. That's non-negotiable. Okay. No. Dr. Oink says, could Jasper get free health care? No. In fact, pet care is a lot of times just as expensive as human care. Seriously, I mean that too. Like right now, if I were to take Jasper to the vet, they'd be like, well, you don't have an appointment 4 months out. Well, he's sick. Okay, well, sit in your car for 7 hours. We'll bring him in for a minute to see if it's life or death. And if it's not, sit in your car for 7 hours. Then bring him in after 7 hours when we have an opening in the day, and we'll treat him. So then you bring him in, they treat him after sitting in your car for 7 hours. And then, oh, by the way, they tell you can't leave. If you leave, you lose your spot. You have to sit in the car for 7 hours. I'm not shitting you. I was told this by a vet about 2-3 years ago. So then you bring him in, you get him treated, and then when you leave, they say, okay, here's your bill, $700. But you treated him for 5 minutes, $700. Oh, thanks. Anyway, let's not get into that. Why is my health insurance so expensive if I don't have health problems? Because that's health insurance in the United States. That's how it works. I guess you don't know. I guess probably your parents pay for your health insurance, right? That's how it works. Ever since I became an adult and I got my own health insurance, it's been expensive. The only time my health insurance was cheap is when I worked for a major corporation, and then they subsidized the health care. So they would take maybe $100, $200 out of my paycheck a month to pay for it, and they would subsidize the rest. Ever since I lost that helicopter job, every single year I've had my own health insurance, the price has been sky high. There you go. Battleduck says, for that price, why don't you get an included room to stay at a luxury hotel with your stay? Exactly. The problem is, in the United States, healthcare is a profitable industry. It's not meant to be taking care of the populace, taking care of pets, taking care of anyone. It's about making money. They've turned life or death into profit. And because of that, people just accept it. Well, I got to live, so I guess I got to pay. Even if you don't pay. Even if you pay partial. Like, a lot of the times, you'll get an insane bill. Well, I can't pay this. So you call them. Listen, there's no way I can fucking pay this. You're out of your mind. All right, well, just pay us this a month instead. Okay, I'll be paying that for the rest of my life, but I guess I'm paying it for the rest of my life because I can't afford it, right? So you make these negotiations. That's how it is. It's crazy.
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.